Good evening. Welcome to the Ogden City Council Special Council Meeting for December 11th, 2012. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present with the exception of Council Member Van Hoosier, who is asked to be excused tonight. And at this time, we'll have Vice Chair Blair lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and we'll now have a moment of silence. Thank you. First on the agenda is a recognition, and it's for an idle-free week, and we will turn the time over to Councilmember Gochner.
Thank you. This is a joint proclamation proclaiming January 14th through 21st, 2013 as Idle-Free Week in Ogden City. Whereas the Ogden City Council and Mayor Caldwell recognize the importance of maintaining clean air because this contributes to our quality of life and promotes the health, safety, and well-being of our community. And whereas vehicle emissions are a significant contributor to air pollution and release harmful pollutants into the air which causes asthma and other respiratory diseases. One easy way to help mitigate poor air quality is to reduce unnecessary idling and driving. And whereas there are many simple ways to reduce unnecessary idling. Some of these include turning off a vehicle when going through a drive-through window and picking up and dropping off children at school, and choosing not to idle when warming up the car in the morning. And whereas vehicle emissions can also be reduced by planning travel ahead of time and using other transportation options. Taking the bus or train, walking, biking, and carpooling can all help to improve our air quality. And whereas those who reduce unnecessary idling and driving are able to save on fuel costs, conserve energy, and provide a positive contribution to the overall health of our community. Now, therefore, the Ogden City Council and Mayor Caldwell hereby proclaim January 14th through 21st, 2013 as Idle-Free Week in Ogden City. We challenge residents, schools, businesses, and community groups to join in this effort to reduce unnecessary idling and driving throughout this week and the entire year. And with that, I'd just like to thank everyone that has supported this initiative and been involved. And I think it's a wonderful beginning for our community, and it sends a great message that we really care about our air quality. So with that, I would make a motion that we adopt this joint proclamation.
I second it.
We have a motion from Councilmember Gochner and a second from Councilmember Stevens to adopt this joint proclamation. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? This passes. Thank you. And next is new business, and the first is falconry exception to the wild animal prohibition, and Ms. Janine Eller-Smith will present for us.
Thank you, council members. You may recall in late October, Dr. Matthew Clark, a local veterinarian who's here tonight, made a presentation to the City Council requesting a change to the city's ordinance relating to falconry. During his presentation, he indicated that falconry is heavily regulated by both state and federal agencies and outlined the significant prerequisites for obtaining a permit. He pointed out that there was a conflict between Ogden City's ordinance and these state and federal laws because under the current city ordinance, possession of any raptor is allowed only in animal shelters, veterinarian hospitals, wildlife preserves, or similar circumstances which have those necessary permits. So the problem is that under state and federal law, any falconers or people who want to be falconers have to fulfill a 2-year apprenticeship, and so there was no way for them to do that under the current city ordinance. He indicated that falconers provide important services to the community by promoting species conservation and propagation, wildlife rehabilitation, and general public education about the importance of maintaining the raptor population, and he requested an amendment to the code. So as council staff, we talked with leadership, and then I met with Mayor Brown, the Assistant City Attorney, to talk about this. And we initially talked about just throwing that into the animal ordinance, which you know is in process right now. But because we didn't have a definite ETA on that ordinance, and because this was a simple fix, we decided to go ahead and make this minor change. We came up with a draft, and it was reviewed by Dr. Clark as well as members of the administration, and everyone felt that it was an appropriate change to make. So this change just makes an exception to this wild animal prohibition or protected species that adds language that says this subsection shall not apply to raptors possessed by licensed falconers holding valid Utah Division of Wildlife Resources and U.S. Fish and Wildlife falconry permits as required, so long as the conditions of the permits are being satisfied. And that's an important point, that because the permits have very specific requirements that these people must follow in order to maintain those permits. Just to let you know, Mayor Brown indicated that in her discussions with folks from the Division of Wildlife Resources, they were really excited about this change because there's not very many cities that do this. There are a couple, I think West Valley City and Salt Lake City also have this exception. So unless you have any questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. And at this time, we'll accept public input regarding this. And please limit your comments to 3 minutes and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Matt Clark, and I live on 26th Street in Ogden. I want to thank you for taking the time to consider this on such short notice. It seems like it was only 5 or 6 weeks ago since I was here. I especially want to thank Ms. Eller-Smith and Ms. Brown for doing all of the legwork back and forth with the state. I just wanted to reiterate a couple of quick points. This is something that's highly regulated at the state and federal level. There's a significant barrier to entry. Once you do get a permit, there are annual reporting requirements. There are always going to be a small number of people that are doing this. The Fish and Wildlife Service believes there are less than 5,000 in the country at any one time. But they do have a disproportionately large positive impact on the communities where they're present. In changing the Ogden City Code to be in line with the state and federal requirements, will recognize the value that falconers provide to the community on the city level, corresponding to the state and federal level. And doing so will not necessarily increase the regulatory burden on the city at all. The state and the federal government handle all of the regulatory burden for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Any further discussion or questions?
I would make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2012-54, and I'd like to thank our council staff for working so quickly on this. I think it's a good example of a citizen bringing a concern forward and us being able to respond in a timely manner.
I would echo that and second that.
Thank you. We have a motion from Councilmember Wicks and a second from Councilmember Gochner to adopt proposed ordinance 2012-54. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gochner?
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer?
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens?
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks?
Aye.
Vice Chair Blair?
Aye.
Chair Gardner?
Aye. This passes. And thank you, Dr. Clark, for bringing this to our attention. We appreciate your feedback. Next on the agenda is the 2013 legislative priorities, and Mr. Cook is going to give us an update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll give you a brief overview regarding this matter. Each year, the Council and Administration determine what the legislative priorities are. In the past, some years you have adopted them via joint resolution, and others you have not. We're proposing that this be a new tradition, if you will, and it would encourage you to consider it. The joint resolution that you have before you incorporates the legislative priorities from the Utah League of Cities. Their items were adopted in their last conference, and it also incorporates the Ogden Weber Chamber of Commerce Legislative Committee and the issues that they've been working on. So there are 13 items listed, and you had a briefing in your study session regarding some of these issues. They will evolve, as they always do, within the legislative session, and we will keep you abreast of those items that affect our city. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Questions for Mr. Cook or further discussion?
There's no further discussion. I'll make a motion to adopt our legislative priorities.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Gochner and a second from Vice Chair Blair to adopt the 2013 legislative priorities. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. This passes. Next is public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding your concerns or ideas. Please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. In this form of government, all city personnel are the responsibility of the administration, not of the council. Please discuss any concerns you may have regarding staff with the mayor, chief administrative officer, or department directors. No public comments. Comments from administration.
I have nothing at this time.
I do think, though, that we should recognize that our mayor's turned a year older today. It is his birthday. And on public record, wish him a happy birthday.
Sing?
No, like I said, I have nothing at this time. Thank you very much.
I was going to sing to you.
Oh, no, I'm kind of just in fear of my job.
Thank you. Council staff.
No, I think I've said enough. Thank you.
Thank you. And council members.
I guess I just had one thing to celebrate the start of our ski shuttle, which begins on Friday. That's a big deal for Ogden and for Weber County. So.
That is a huge deal. Thank you, Kayla.
Yes. And we encourage you to find out about this and enjoy the opportunity. And also just a shout out for Weber State and support them this Saturday. It's a very big game for the community, and let's see if we can get out and
Don't wear any blue. Purple only.
That's okay.
Purple only.
Any other comments from council members? Okay. Next is consideration of adjourning into a closed executive session. Mr. Williams.
Mr. Chair, a closed executive session is permissible for the purposes set forth on the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we move into a closed executive session.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Heyer and a second from Vice Chair Blair to adjourn into a closed executive session. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Heyer,
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens,
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks,
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner,
Aye.
Vice Chair Blair,
Aye.
Chair Gardner.
Aye. We'll now adjourn into a closed executive session and then we'll return. Thank you. And we'll reconvene the City Council meeting. And next on the agenda is a consideration of adjourning the City Council meeting.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adjourn the City Council meeting.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Heyer and a second from Vice Chair Blair to adjourn the City Council meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And next is consideration of, or moving into the redevelopment agency meeting. And as soon as the recorder's ready, we'll move into that meeting.